And so we go again. Season 6 is about to begin, and despite the joys and success of last season, I don't think we're going to be able to repeat that this season. Because whilst all the other teams around us have been strengthening their squads, and in particular Manchester City, who've brought in Mbappe to partner Haaland up front, we have not been able to get in the players that we wanted. And so we are a little lacking in some areas of the field this season. But who knows what might happen? There is still a little bit of time left in the transfer window, and we are still hopeful. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to the Liberty Stadium in Swansea, and if you're a first-time visitor, then why not subscribe? Help the channel to grow and help us to support the very worthwhile cause you can see scrolling above. But if you are enjoying the content, why not like and comment? It's likes and comments that cause YouTube to show the videos to a wider audience, and that will mean that we can grow a lot quicker. And I want to say thank you to all of you who are already doing that. But before we take a look at what's coming up in the new season, let's take time to review what happened in the previous season. And boy, what a season it was. And in terms of the new arrivals, Rhys Williams finally signed for us and came up with an average rating of 7.37 in 35 appearances. Fantastic performance. And Buongiorno, he came in at a 7.13 from 39 appearances and had a fabulous season. Choberi came in January, played a handful of games, 11 games, with an average rating of 6.91. Decent enough for a starting player. And in terms of the loans out, Andrew Rodon, young forward, continues to develop quite well. He's still only 19, and so he certainly is one that we'll be keeping an eye on in terms of the future. Nobody else in terms of the loans did anything in particular. It was a pretty quiet season for all our loanees. But it was Rhys Williams who was the signing of the season, beyond any shadow of a doubt. And a season to remember it was. We were expected to finish in the top half. We won the Premier League. We won it, as you would recall, by 2 points from Manchester City. And that brilliant last game, beating Arsenal by 4-1, to see off the challenge from Manchester City. And it was a season to remember. And in terms of the fixtures, we were consistent throughout the season. We started very, very well, and we kept up that momentum. There was very, very few times where we actually went into a bad spell. Towards the end of the season, we lost a few games, but overall, it was a magnificent performance from this Swansea City squad. Moments to remember, well, there was that 7-0 victory towards the end of the season against Bristol City, and a 5-0 victory over Norwich was one of the games to remember. But the goal of the season, I kind of maybe disagree with. It was a good goal, but I'm pretty sure that I saw better goals. It was by Magyar, who sent in a curler, just picked it up. He's only 25 yards out. It's a good goal, but I think I saw better goals during the course of the season. So the goal of the season, though, according to the fans, goes to Magyar. And we haven't changed in terms of reputation over the years. We're still a 4-star. But our revenue from broadcast continues to go down. I don't know why that happens. And matchday commercial and retail is still declining. But everything else financially looks very, very good. In terms of shirt sales, Vitinha was the top seller, with Broja, Hannibal, Barassi and Adley making up the top 5, and very worthy, I think, of those jersey sales. In terms of the team, how we lined up, everybody apart from El Neni getting into the greens. El Neni, of course, we have sold now and replaced, hopefully with someone quite exciting for our first team. And It was a brilliant first-team squad, and absolutely overpowering most of the teams. Junior, Mailer, Williams, Theet, Augustinson at the back, absolutely brilliant. And up front, we scored a lot of goals. Manager, I did win the Manager of the Year award again. And the fans player of the season was Yaxin Adli, who had a super season. Young player of the season was Brozier. We know about signing of the season and goal of the season. Vitinha was the top goal scorer with 36 goals in all competitions, and most assists was Yaxin Adli. Vitinha rated player of the match 12 times, and Vitinha had the highest average rating, around 7.5. Absolutely phenomenal year for him. Buongiorno passes completed, the most passes completed. The overall goals in a season record has now gone to Vitinha, and the assists record of 23 has gone to Yaxin Adli. And clean sheets, 19 by Lewis Jr. this season, is now Swansea's record. And 12 Player of the Match awards for Vitinha is also gone down in the record books. So in terms of what we did, it was a brilliant season. We started well and we maintained that form, and that really set us up to see off the challenge of Manchester City. We won 3 trophies, the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Community Shield, and it was an absolutely delightful finish. And so we do have the start to the season. We have Crystal Palace away for our first game. But before that, there was the little matter of playing Manchester City in the Community Shield again. And Manchester City, of course, who have been busy strengthening. But before we go to that, let's take a look at what's happened in the transfer market. Very little. You remember that at the back end of last season, we added Andrea Cambiasi, a fullback. He has since got himself injured and will be out. He's been out most pre-season and will be out for another couple of weeks. So we're hopeful to get him back very, very soon. To play at fullback. And then we brought in Shola Shortire from Manchester United, our 4th Manchester United Youth Academy player coming in, and he looks like he's a very, very good advanced playmaker. He can also play as a Mazzala. He is a very, very, very good player, I think, at 22 years old, and will become, if he gets enough game time now, he will become, I think, a fabulous player. So 2 very, very good signings before the transfer window were made. But since the transfer window, we've only been able to make 1. We needed desperately to strengthen at a defensive mid, and we brought in Tommaso Pobega for £59 million, which pretty much has used up all of our transfer budget, and we only had then £20 million left, which we haven't been able to spend on anybody that could really strengthen the squad. In terms of players going out, it's been again very quiet. We've loaned out Joel Cotterill, a young lad who I do believe in and might develop very nicely. He's gone out to Blackpool, and we then sold Dylan Levitt to Shakhtar for not as much as I would have hoped for, but he was beginning to be not part of my plans. He was his ability didn't suit the squad that we were actually where we were actually going, and he became surplus to requirements, and he has gone to Shakhtar for £16.75 million, and we got about 12.5 for him in terms of our budget. So in terms of the Community Shield, Manchester City, who have brought in Mbappe to play up front with Haaland, but we gave them a fright, and Youssef Barassi scored in the 35th minute to send us 1-0 up, and then Shortire breaking forward early in the second half, he fed in Barassi, and Barassi's chip made it 2-0 to Swansea, And what a game this was turning out to be. We were not expected to do this. We were not expected to even get close to Manchester City. Manchester City did pull one back through Haaland. He always scores against us, and he scored again to make it 2-1. But Swansea were not finished. And Shortire fed Vitinha into Adley, and Adley drove into the box past the goalkeeper and made it 3-1 to Swansea. We had won the Community Shield yet again, and an incredible result against Manchester City. Whether we can do that in the league, though, who knows? And so we do have a pretty decent start to the season. We have Crystal Palace, Chelsea and Leicester this month, and hopefully we can get 6 or 8 points from 6 or 7 points from those first 3 fixtures, although we have to take Crystal Palace seriously. But we do have some bad news in terms of the squad, that we've just learned that Brozier is wanted by both Real Madrid and Liverpool, and he does want to actually leave the club. He wants to go to a bigger club, and I don't think that we're going to have any way that we can keep him here if they come in with large bids. But if we sold, then it is possible that we could end up with about 100 mil in the bank, and that might mean that we can get the forward in that we wanted, plus strengthen up with a central defender come fullback, which we're also looking to bring in. But for now, there's little we can do. We have a game of football to focus on, and we have Crystal Palace away, and a game we should win, but there's no guarantees. Crystal Palace are an extremely fast team, and it is quite difficult to know how to play against them. And my instinct is not to be cautious about newly promoted teams, but to go out there, take the game to them, and show them that, welcome them to the Premier League, and show them it's not going to be easy. We have our first team selected, including Barassi and Vitinha up front, and let's go and play the game and see what happens against Crystal Palace. And so as the teams warm up, the game has begun. And hopefully I have made the right decision to go more positive. I was seriously considering playing in a standard way, but I think you have to play positive in your first game of the season and let the Premier League know how you intend to go about your business. But it is Crystal Palace, which is a bit of a worrying. Nielsen is through, and Nielsen has scored, and we are a goal behind in 2 minutes. But I think the referee is checking with VAR. Was he offside? The goal is disallowed, and maybe the decision that I've made to play with a high line to go positive is actually not the correct decision. Who knows? But we have had a let-off there. It was a good goal, but we have had a let-off. However, we do have a highlight. Here is Barassi looking for Mailer. Mailer's header goes nowhere. And here come Palace again. Palace looking to break a pace. They are a very fast team. They are worrying. And here they are. They are in again, and that's a great save by Lewis Jr. But again, I think he's offside, and we have survived yet again. And Crystal Palace, it is all Crystal Palace at the moment, and I might have to make 1 or 2 changes in a minute, because if this goes on for much longer, then they will score. But here is Buongiorno to Mailer. He's looking for Vitinha, again inside to Mailer. Shortire finds Mailer to Maguire. That was better, but it finally came to a close. A little bit better, but not no final product to it. And we need to do a lot better than this. There is 18 minutes on the clock, and it has all been Crystal Palace. And they are still looking to build, and here is another chance. And that one has been put into the corner, and finally they have broken our resolve, and they have gone a goal in front. I do need to make some changes now. What those changes will be, I'm not sure. I don't want to drop the lines now. I think we need to continue playing in the way that we are playing, but this has become quite a difficult situation. I think we'll see how this pans out until half time before we actually do anything. And Theet has the ball. Theet to Pobega, the new signing. And here is Adley. Adley finds Vitinha, and Vitinha had a chance. Tries to side-foot it, but I think he was offside. And Crystal Palace with the free kick. And that's long, driven long. They are going to look to put the ball over the top. They've already scored once from that. Let's hope that it's only going to happen once in the game. You do have to accept if you play with a high line, teams are going to score with that long ball. And here is Barassi. Barassi's looking for Adley, but he's overhit it. We're not really playing very well. And this is not the start that I wanted to this season. And here is Maggiore. Maggiore to Theet. Theet looks inside for Buongiorno. And Buongiorno, he brings the ball forward, finds Adley. Adley looking to go around the outside. Can he get a cross in? Yes, he can. It's Mailer. Mailer to Shortire. Shortire to Maggiore. It is 1-1. We are back in the game. Lovely passing move. And Maggiore, the last person on the end, fired it into the net. It is Crystal Palace 1, Swansea 1. It's still not the start we wanted. We need to get in front. And that was a lovely goal and a good response from Swansea. We're back in the game. And now we need to get on our game, get more of that going on. And in the dressing room, I'm saying I am very, very disappointed, and that they need to go out there and get their act together. This is a newly promoted team who we should be beating, and we are not doing the business. As Crystal Palace look to that long ball over the top again, but this time it's cleared. And here is Barassi. Barassi is through, and Barassi has made it 2-1. We have gone more attacking after half-time. It's paid off. We are 2-1 up. We're back in the game. We're back in front, and we are back near the top of the league, where we belong. And Maggiore finds Shortire, header down by Vitinha, and Barassi bursting into the box, fired it into the top corner. It's Crystal Palace 1, Swansea 2, and I feel a lot happier now. But we still need to be very, very careful of this long ball over the top. And so there's a couple of players on yellow cards. I need to get them to calm down a little bit. And Mailer finds Shortire. Shortire looking for our own version of the long ball, but that's harmlessly through to the goalkeeper. It remains Crystal Palace 1, Swansea 2. If we can win this game, it'll be a great start. We need to start well. Football Manager is a game of momentum, and we need the momentum in our favour at the beginning. And here is Malacia. Malacia finds Vitinha to Barassi, and he's hit the post. That would have made it 3-1. I suspect that would have been game over. We just need to keep doing what we're doing now. We're going to make a few changes because there are some tired legs out there. And keep pushing forward. We've gone back to just a positive rather than an attacking mentality. Just so that we're not vulnerable to that long ball. And we've just dropped the line back a little bit so to stop them doing that. And here is Hannibal. Hannibal to Pobega. And there is a long ball forward from Hannibal, but it's not the best ball that I've ever seen. And we need to be demanding more from this team. They're not playing very well. I'm going to up the tempo a little bit, and I'm actually going to push the line back up because I sense that we're allowing them to come back at us, and I don't want that to happen. So we're going to maintain the distance of the defensive line up the field. And Maggiore's looking for Barassi. Barassi inside for Vitinha. Now, can Vitinha score? He can. It is Crystal Palace 1, Swansea 3, and that surely is game up. But the referee is checking with VAR. And it looks like it's been allowed. Maggiore fed Barassi, and that was a beautiful ball inside. And Vitinha, calm as a cucumber. He slotted it in, and we're 3-1 up. And after 83 minutes, I suspect now that will be game up. It was a very valiant performance by Crystal Palace. You've got to give them credit. And they still are pushing forward. They are still looking for that long ball over the top. And they are actually playing some very nice football as well. So fair dues to Crystal Palace. They've given us a game, and we've had to work very, very hard to get to this 3-1 scoreline, and they almost made it 3-2. But I suspect that's it now. We just need to see the game out, be calm, be cool, be collected, play it around, don't do anything silly, and we should coast over the line now. And here's Vitinha. Vitinha looks for Hannibal. Hannibal back to Vitinha. And that's nice football. Pobega, he finds Hannibal. It finds its way. But Hannibal, who's not had the greatest of games today, as Crystal Palace again lob one over the top. Can he score? And Lewis Jr. has made another good save. And that is something that we have to be very aware of when we play Crystal Palace again. They are a very quick team, and we will need to play very quick players at the back to make sure that they're not getting those balls over the top to run onto. And here is Barassi. Barassi is looking to drive forward. We are not the quickest team in the world, but he's made his way all the way up the pitch. And here's Mela. Mela Adley, what a chance. And Crystal Palace are able to clear that up and put the ball to safety. But I think that is it. It's full time. Crystal Palace 1, Swansea 3. We are off to a winning start. We are second in the Premier League, as you can see, just behind Manchester City. And it's going to be a very, very tough season. We're certainly not the finished article in terms of the team we have. And so I'm not expecting miracles like we've had over the last 2 years. And so in terms of the schedule, the transfer window will finish, of course, at the end of August. We'll come back probably for Aston Villa and Arsenal so that we can update you on what's happened in the transfer window. There may yet be some stories to tell. And that's it for this video. We've got off to a winning start. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe, watch, like and comment. Likes and comments are what will make the channel grow, and I would appreciate that very much indeed. And all that remains to be said now is we will see you in the next episode.